Video on the key study, remember, of Money. So John Money was a learning theorist who believed that children were born gender neutral. He thought that you were born with no gender and your family and your parents could raise you as either male or female, and that's how you would feel. So he's got this study in 1975 based on this natural event that happened. So the aim was to find out about whether you could raise a baby as the opposite sex based on these real life cases. So there's 45 cases he looked at, particularly though we usually focus on the one. This one study, or this one case, is very useful because the child had a twin brother, which operates as kind of a natural control for somebody that was born male and raised as male within the same family. So there's a longitudinal study that took place over 9 years. So remember, there were two brothers born, Bruce and Brenda, and at 7 months there was a surgical mishap. Bruce had his penis, Bruce and Brenda, they were Bruce and Brian. At 7 months, Bruce had a surgical mishap and his penis was removed through ablation. It was burnt off during a circumcision. This obviously was a big event in the lives of the Bruce and Brian's parents. And whilst they were dealing with it, they saw Dr. Money on TV. And he was on TV with somebody who he'd helped through the transgender operation. And they realised, or they thought, that he could help them. So at 17 months old, Bruce and Brian's parents acted on this, and they got Bruce transformed, gave him the transgender operation, and changed him physically into a girl. They also provided him with the various hormones and things, HRT, needed to physically change him into a girl. And they started calling him Brenda. Money observed the behaviours and the lives of Brian and Brenda now over a 9-year period. So Brenda's parents changed her clothes, gave her hair ribbons, let her grow her hair long, and so on. And Money reports that Brenda really liked wearing dresses. She was proud of her long hair. She showed female kind of tendencies, or feminine tendencies, in inverted commas, like tidiness. She liked playing with dolls. Her parents were clear, and apparently the kids followed very clearly the mummy and daddy roles in the family. Very kind of gender stereotypical behaviours. They copied the same-sex parents as they grew up. Their mother was quoted as saying, like, her son Brian wanted to be a fireman or a policeman, whereas Brenda wanted to be a doctor or a teacher or a nurse, something like that. Brenda wanted to play with dolls, Brian wanted to play with cars. Brenda did show some tomboyish traits, but they put that down to her close relationship with her brother and kind of copying from him. They did try to make her more ladylike. As time went on, she also identified herself as female. So they took a trip to the zoo, and Brenda identified that she would be a girl monkey, whereas her brother would be a male monkey, clearly showing that she identified as a female. So Money concluded at the age of around 12 that the surgery had been a success. Brenda was a normal little girl. Nurture, the way she had been brought up as a girl, overrode or overpowered her biological nature. It was possible to raise a child as the opposite sex and for them to be happy. However, years later, when Brenda was about 17, we just started to discover the truth. So this was another case study by Diamond and Sigmundson. Brenda came forward and said she'd found out by now that she'd been born male, and she came forward and said she had never been happy as a female. Everything that Money had seen was biased and wrong. He'd interpreted things wrongly. She had not liked dolls and dresses. She would often get really frustrated with her brother and fight with him because he was living the life that she wanted. During the time, Brenda began to live her life as David. She decided that she wanted to be male again, and started to follow on and live a male life, to the point that she actually got the transgender operation to switch back into being a male. Sadly, there was many problems in David's life now. So Bruce became Brenda and Brenda became David Reamer. and we can talk about that. But there was many problems in David's life. He was very kind of unhappy, and the events of his youth had kind of hurt him deeply, and both he and his brother and his mother all ended up dying of suicide. So the case study of Diamond Sigmundson suggests that nature might be more powerful than nurture. The genetics and the biology that David was born with as Bruce overrode how he was raised as Brenda. Remember, reliability, we can question this though. Daphne Went was born sex undifferentiated. She was raised as a female even though she was biologically male, and she lived happily. So we can talk about that as being kind of contradictory evidence to money. There's obviously lots of other evaluation points, and we will talk about them during evaluation, during revision. Thanks very much.